Over the last week, you guys have seen me test out a bunch of MVP, Streamline, and Axiom discs in order to develop a bag that I can really trust. But there's one more disc that came kind of out of nowhere that we just gotta test out. You see, last night I played a space race and I was gonna film it for you guys, but the conditions were, let's just say, not great for creating a Frolf Tube cinema.
Hey guys, just wanted to let you know I am at a space race right now and I got these Frisbees and I was gonna film it, but it's rained the whole day. It's probably 45 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so I'm not doing that.
But I did have the chance to throw 14 holes, 14 ace runs with the Axiom range. Now this disc, obviously, you've seen it before being compared to the Berg. As a disc golf content creator, I try to steer away from watching other videos made by other creators about popular new releases because I'll probably eventually make my own video and I don't want to have ideas in my head about how it's gonna fly. So I basically went into the space race with the idea that this disc was basically a Berg. And I was so happy to quickly realize it flies nothing like one. Today we're back out here at Cornwall Park, one of my new home courses. We're gonna be playing the front five backhand, and then we're gonna be playing it again forehand, dialing in the range.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Building the MVP Bag. I'm excited for this one. It kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously, 30 days of just MVP. I had to go sign up for a space race. There was one going on at one of the local courses. Kind of signed up last minute. Like you probably saw, it was horrible weather. Couldn't really make any quality piece of content out of that. But this disc, I quickly found out was gonna be worth testing out and maybe worth bagging. And along with the range, the Atom, the mystery putter. You guys have seen me kind of teasing them in the last few videos. You guys bullied me basically into picking up a pair of these. You know, I was putting the Envies before, they were working well, but everyone's like, Rod, if you want beat up straight Envies, just get Atoms. And I will admit, the purple with black rim looks really nice and was half the reason I honestly got a pair. We've been testing them out for the last maybe 5-6 days. Now I will admit, I think I've been putting worse with the Atoms than I did with the Envy. They're a slightly different hand feel. They're similar, very similar. But I do think it's just a little bit in my head. With the Envies being an overstable putter, I knew I could just jam the shit out of them. And with the Atoms, my miss seems to be just a little bit fluffed. I think because they're obviously a straighter disc, I think they're gonna float a little bit more. But they're brand new. You still gotta jam them. I can't change my putt just because it's a slightly different flight characteristic. You still just gotta spin the thing in. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know my thoughts on the Berg. And the range, although similar, has a much different feel. If you haven't watched any videos on this disc so far, it's lower profile, more rounded, slightly less concave, and just overall has a much shallower feel. And now the thing that surprised me the most was the understability. Last night at the space race, I kept trying to throw hyzers with it. And then it would just stall dead straight. It would never fade, forehand and backhand. And it took me, honestly, the whole entire round to finally just get it through my head that this thing is borderline understable. You guys have probably seen some of the Simon Lizotte, Eagle McMahon practice rounds they've been posting over on YouTube. And one hole specifically, I think it's Fox Run Meadows, hole 3, the little shorty where Eagle was taking the range and like kind of flipping it over on a forehand. And I thought, you can't really do that with a Berg. He's like hyzer flip, turning it over. And that got me thinking, I'm like, maybe it is different. And you know, like I said, I hadn't watched a single video covering the flight of this disc because I kind of wanted that fresh perspective. I came up pretty short on this shot, and I think that almost speaks a little bit more to the fact that it doesn't really have that push out stability at the end, where if you threw a Berg on Annie, you're gonna hold the Annie, but it's gonna push out straight. Whereas the range kind of just anhyzers and fizzles out. The main similarity is it has no glide at all. It's a brick. The approach disc category for my play style is pretty important. It's a disc I really got to have confidence in. And as you guys have probably seen through the few actual rounds I've played so far in this challenge, the tempo, although a good disc, I just cannot seem to trust. Hole 3, one of the longer holes out here, 270 feet. I hope I can throw a good one here and show you guys how much this disc flips up. And it's funny because I might be late to the party. You guys might all know this, but I literally have never seen this disc thrown other than the few times Eagle has thrown it. Yeah, look at that. Really, really nice push. So one of the main reasons that I don't love the tempo, and I've said this in a few videos, is it's borderline a mid-range. It goes really far, almost too far, where something more similar to the zone is just simply not gonna go as far. And now I know I'm gonna get a bunch of comments saying, "Brad, try the entropy, try the entropy." The entropy is horrible. It is quite possibly the worst zone clone on the market. The baseline plastic ones feel horrible. They have a high shoulder, they're borderline domey. They feel bad, not gonna happen. Sorry. The range might be stealing the spot. So basically it's been raining and storming for the last like 2 days, and we snuck out in a little gap here, but the wind is starting to pick up. Come on. What? Okay. I think one of the main reasons the range actually, intrigued me is because of the, I don't necessarily want to call it like understability, but the very neutral flight of it. Me being a hyzer release person, my forehand, approach discs are typically on the straighter side, a super beat up zone, super beat up A5, something like that. Because when I release it on a stock 15% hyzer, I needed to push a little bit. And that's why I really, enjoy how this comes out of the hand. And honestly, the low profile of it makes it feel really nice. One of my favorite holes on this course, gotta give it some height, let it finish straight. Yes, did I do it? Come on, stay up. You're just short, again, park job. Gosh, I love this hole because I throw the perfect line every time. Little left, drag it right, pan out flat, 10 feet short. Can't win them all. Real quick, let's talk a little bit more on the Atoms. The feel, very similar to the Envy. Something about the Envy just gave me the trust that I could jam them out left and they're gonna swing in, and they work good, but it could have been kind of that fresh perspective, Sometimes when you get a new putter, you're cracked. Sometimes when you get a new putter, you're horrible. But then, it tends to taper out and kind of put you right back where you were maybe, And the Atom, I like the color scheme better, which for me, putters and the color of them, just mentally, it matters, Preferably, I wish they were just all white. But I still feel like maybe I should try either a Nomad, Electron Soft Nomads, or Electron Soft Ions. Something touch deeper with a bead, because I'm the type of player who can never really decide, what kind of putter he wants to putt with. Beaded, beadless. I love KC Pro Aviars, I love PA3s, I love the Marvel, I like Old Innova P2s, I like the Discmania P1. I like so many, different putters, and it's always been tricky for me to just stick with one depending on the style, push, spin that I'm feeling at the moment. And I think the one thing that makes me gravitate back towards a beaded putter a lot of the times is I'll go play a windy round. If I'm putting something beadless, if I don't putt well, I'll kind of lose the confidence because the bead tends to handle the wind a little bit better. So I'll grab some KC Aviars, PA3, whatever. But then the added glide, a lot of times, of the beadless putter, I feel like helps a lot. And obviously this challenge is only 30 days and we're coming up on 10 days. I think this will be day number 9 right here. And I want the first third to kind of be dialing in the bag. And then I want the second 2/3 to really be developing that bag and those molds, maybe some small changes here and there. But we gotta kind of get things dialed in. Very nice. So I'm gonna say it, but I don't need any arguments in the comments. I've always been an advocate of throwing a berg doesn't allow you to learn touch. I think if you learn touch and then still want to throw a berg, that's cool. A lot of pros throw the berg, and I'm sure they have some pretty solid touch. But threw the Berg when it first came out back in high school a lot, back in like 2015, and it was my favorite disc. I threw it as hard as I could on any hole that I could reach it on. But then I kind of realized, man, I really like throwing like DX AVRs, beat up P2s, things that require a little touch. My forehand, I learned how to throw flippy mids and all those types of things. And I kind of realized the more I relied on the Berg, the less consistent my touchy putters, forehands, and all that stuff were. And now disc golf is a sport of individuals. You can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to listen to me. That's just my thoughts. This disc though, I feel like is almost, if you love the Berg, but you're like, man, Brad, I really want to learn that touchy flip up side hand. I want to learn how to control a putter. Grab one of these. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. Real quick before we get to the back 5 Broadbirds. They released yesterday and they sold out in less than a half an hour. You guys are insane. So I talked with Power Grip. We decided to launch a restock, but through pre-order. So they are still available through pre-order. The link will be in the corner and down in the description. Go check them out if you're still interested. Broadbird, flat top, star Firebirds with the Frisbee Club Broderick stamp. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. The last week, honestly, has been pretty insane. Thank you guys. Let's get back to the video. This is really where we got to dial in this disc. See how beautiful that is? It's just a good little push. Ah, so simple. It has no glide, but I feel like with high spin, you can get this thing to just really carry and push and just work any little line angle you want. You can kind of throw it nose up, just kind of stall it down. It just surprised me, guys. I honestly thought I would feel this thing. I'd be like, yeah, so it's a Berg. Not gonna throw it. We might finally have a confident approach disc in this MVP lineup. That was ugly. Man, another really nice forehand hole here. See if we can push it up the left side. Flip up, yeah, go in. Oh my gosh, I did it. No, I didn't. Park though. All right, all the rain is coming down out here, but we gotta see if we can get a full flight 270 late turn forehand with this thing. Oh, I kind of yanked it, but look at, that's like a beautiful flight. I just obviously didn't hang it out far enough on the right. Not a great shot for this hole specifically, but the flight I liked a lot. It gives me good promise. So I really think it's gonna be torque resistant enough so you can really hit it. And it's gonna get that slow drift left, which is one of my favorite shots. I have a zone that is beat to shit. The absolute definition of a zone SS, that late turns. So this is kind of that slot. Honestly, not even sure if I've thrown a forehand on this hole yet. Just gonna try and keep it skinny, push it up flat. I want to ace this hole so bad. Yes. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. Oh my gosh. I haven't thrown a shot I was more sure of on this hole than that one. Didn't ace, but the way that disc flew, so my forehand has a little bit of nose up in it, but I feel like it's not a bad nose up. It's how I throw, basically, how I generate the spin and keep the shot so low, but still get it to go far, is that it is a little nose up, so it really pushes because it has such high spin. And a disc like this, I think if I really work with it and get it dialed in, I can develop some really like good, basically you get to run the basket, but you're just falling down onto it, and then you're staying pretty close. And it could be a very useful tool. Nice little side hand pusher right here. See what we can do. We're just gonna go standstill off the top of the tee. Come on, get it. Oh, beauty. Man, I like this thing. The 30-day MVP only challenge is off to an amazing start. I cannot thank you guys enough for the views, the subscriptions, the engagement on these videos. That has been amazing to see. You guys have helped my channel grow a ton, and it's awesome. You know, I'm really enjoying doing this. It's been an experience because I've never felt so behind in terms of knowledge about a company. I've been playing disc golf for a long time, and I'd say almost every brand out there, other than MVP, above the mids and drive or above the mids and putters. I feel like I have a decent knowledge of the mids and putters because they're pretty good. I've tried most of them before. But above that, you guys have really seen me kind of struggle with obviously developing the drivers and stuff. So it's been like a step back in my knowledge where I usually feel like I just know what, you know, all these discs do, and then MVP, it's like a clean slate. So been enjoying this. But I guess what I was getting at is phase one kind of over, the first 10 days basically. And then phase number two of, you know, days 10 to 20, it's gonna be really heavy on actual on-course content. We're gonna be hitting all the courses in the area, playing actual rounds, seeing if I can score with this MVP bag. Some of you guys hopefully saw my Beat the Leader series out at NSRA. I actually wanted to get out there and film that today, but the weather is miserable, and this course is basically completely covered, so you're almost completely out of the rain as long as you're on like half of these holes that are, you know, covered. And basically what it is I try to beat the UDisc leaderboard score of 11 under par. Last time I was out there, I shot a 7 under. It was my first time out at the track. Very beautiful, a little bit longer, more, you know, actual real raw, like pretty challenging disc golf. So we're gonna be getting out there probably mid next week. Gonna try and find a day, you know, where the weather's not horrible, but it's PNW, and I'm up for whatever challenges we have to face. So a lot more on-course content coming over the next, you know, 10 days, and then the last 10 days, we're gonna see where we're at and kind of gauge it off that. It might be some more like comparisons between, you know, the old favorites and the MVP, or by then we should know, hey, what are the MVP molds that we're really enjoying? So cannot thank you guys enough for being part of this series. Once again, quick reminder, Broadbird pre-order restock is live. If you're interested in one of those, go check it out. Also, make sure you read the details under the restock thing in terms of the timeline. It's a pre-order. Just want to remind you guys of that. But thank you guys for watching. We will see you in the next one.
Creator of Frisbee Club, motherfuckers.
The man, the myth.
And right here, I have a frisbee bag. It holds all my frisbees, the ones I like.